month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago, my girlfriend and I, who've been together for a few years, we lived together. She was like a stepmom to my son, and she's a nurse. She's a really great person. We wind up breaking up. We have a different path. You know, we need to do a lot of self-discovery and really figure out what it is that we both want. And so I decided to go down to Mexico and kind of take my mind off things. And then when I was in Mexico, I wound up getting COVID-19, and I got back to the States, and I was doing my 14-day quarantine at home, sitting in my bedroom for driving myself nuts. And I just wanted to get out and get some sun. And so I figured I would go on a road trip, and I said it's always been a goal of mine to drive a convertible car over the 7-mile bridge down in the Florida Keys. So I said, you know what? I've got time. I'm going to knock it off my bucket list. I can't go back to work for a few more days. And so I left on Thursday and figured I would make it down to the Keys, drive over the 7-mile bridge, drive down to Key West, and then come back, and I should be able to make it back to Detroit on Sunday. But that was about 2 weeks ago. So I didn't make it back in 3 or 4 days. I wound up staying 2 weeks, and so I started driving down, and I stayed in Kentucky for a night. Then I went to St. Petersburg for a couple nights, and then Sarasota. Made my way down to Miami for a couple days, and then down to Key West, and I got to go over the 7-mile bridge. And another bucket list item that I always had was to stay at Little Palm Island, which is a place that is just incredible. It's a little 4.5-acre island, number 7 resort in the United States, but it's a little 4.5-acre island with only 30 casitas on it. It's a really private, ultra-exclusive, really neat place. Way out of my league, but I said, you know, one day I want to try that, so I did that, and I knocked that off my bucket list. But then as I was making my way back up, very, very important person in my life, Tim, who I've known for 28 years or so. When I was 19 years old, I was selling Kirby vacuums. We've been friends. I always looked up to this guy ever since, because he was just like me, but an older version and a cooler, better looking version than I ever was. And he always had the girls, you know, he had the best job, he was influential, and I always looked up to this guy. And we've been friends ever since. We played softball together, and I went through a lot of life struggles, as did Tim. And during that time, we learned to bond even more over time, and this has been many, many years. And I'll just let Tim share if he wants to share anything, and then I'll go back to a little bit more about my story. I'm not exactly sure what you want to say, but...
Well, I just want to say that this has been a great week with Joe. We've had some great times together over the years, but this has been an excellent time that was perfect for both of us. And what I mean by perfect is perfect timing for us to hang out, laugh, enjoy one another, love one another, and motivate and teach each other. And that's really what this is about for me at this stage of my life. We teach each other, excuse me. Joe has taught me many things. I think I do the same for him. I love the phrase that steel sharpens steel, and I think that's what we do. And we also help each other with our weaknesses, and that's what we did a little bit of this trip, is kind of helped each other with a little bit of healing on our weaknesses.
So one of the things that I've struggled with over the years, personally, I'm crazy. I'm all over the board. I'm very extreme, and that's why Tim and I bond so much, because we're very much A-type personality type people. But he understands me, and he's always been able to give me really good advice, very good sound advice. And a lot of the things that I've struggled with, he's had his experience with as well. And for many years, I've always tried to think I can figure things out and do things my way, and my way would be always the right way. And, you know, being an A-type personality type of person that, you know, creates things, achieves things, wins championships, wins awards, things that, you know, because of my own drive, makes me think a lot of times that I'm in control of everything. And my ego can control me, and I don't even really know it. You know, I can be narcissistic, I can be arrogant, I can be, you know, very self-absorbed, and think that the world kind of revolves around me, and, you know, and the truth is, you know, the more I think that way, the worse off I am, and the stronger I am, the more vulnerable I really am. and the more at risk I am. I've struggled with alcoholism for, obviously, I mean, if anybody's seen any of these things before, you know my struggles. And so during this trip, and you know, I got a lot of time to myself, and I've got the last 4 or 5 days with Tim. And Tim's somebody that's really helped guide me over the years, and it's just been a really great experience. And you know, some of the things that I struggle with, it's not so much. I mean, alcohol was the symptom, but you know what I found is that staying away from alcohol alone and just not drinking doesn't solve the problem. Because I'm still fucked up in my head. You know, I'm crazy, and you know, the symptom isn't the issue. It's the stuff that's underlying, and being able to sit down and do some journaling, doing a gratitude list every day for the last several days, just writing stuff down and really, you know, thinking about that stuff has made a big difference. And one of the things I did with Tim a little over a year and a half ago, about a year and a half ago, when I was 1 year sober, was I did a 4th and 5th step inventory, which is something we do in my recovery program, where we go through and redo a full inventory list of everything from our history. I mean, being introduced, you know, my relationship with my mom, my relationship with my dad, my parents' relationship with each other, when I was introduced to sex, when I was introduced to drugs or alcohol, when I was introduced to this. And it goes through step by step through my entire life. And in writing, you know, God, I mean, on typewritten, it was 57 pages or whatever. It's 155 questions that I went through. And going through that, there was an awful lot of self-discovery, things that I didn't even think about, but were buried deep in my subconscious, and things that I was ashamed of, things in people, situations that I was resentful over, things that stemmed insecurities where I didn't feel adequate or good enough, that created scenarios in my life where I just, you know, were things that I was fearful of, or you know, it dictated how, if I was controlling in a relationship, or if I was insecure about this or that, and being able to go through that list, share it with my buddy Tim, and turn it over to another human being and own that. As crazy as it sounds, it's one of the most liberating things I've ever done in my life. And I don't think it, you know, you don't have to be an alcoholic or an addict or, you know, a codependent or whatever it may be to do this type of self-discovery work. You know, in fact, the questions that I answered weren't even from Alcoholics Anonymous, which is the program that I'm involved with. But it wasn't from that program. It was from an Overeater Anonymous program that I've never even been a part of. But it's such a thorough set of inventory questions. And it really, going through all that stuff, sharing with another person, made me feel free of a lot of that stuff. And so I enjoy spending time with Tim because he's the person I shared all that stuff with. He's one of my best friends in life. And we're driving around a convertible Lamborghini in Florida. And it's just awesome. It's just awesome. And it was very freeing to be able to share that stuff. And this trip was very, you know, a lot of self-discovery as well. You know, I'm struggling with, you know, feelings of adequacy as well. You know, I mean, my girlfriend and I, we broke up. I wasn't feeling all that great, you know, about myself. And this was freeing to me because I was able to kind of get my feet back on ground, really kind of get centered again. That. So I don't know if Tim wants to share anything else. Otherwise, we'll cut it off. But up to you.
Well, I'll just say that there's power in numbers. So anybody that's watching this, we together conquer and do things and overcome things that I can't do alone, or that we, you know, as an individual we can't do alone. So whatever's going on in your life, share it with someone. You know, ask God for strength to show you some leaders and some teachers, and one day you'll be the teacher and you'll be the leader.
And I'll tell you that when he says there's power in numbers, it's you know, for 20 years I was in and out of different recovery programs, but that was the thing. I was in until I was feeling better and confident. My ego took control, and then I was out. It was never we, it was always me. And when it's just me and I'm left to my own set of rules and devices, then I'm crazy, man. I'm going to go off track because that's what I do by default. So by surrounding myself with good people, good role models, people that live in a similar world that I do but have gotten further along, it helps me so much because I can see they show me the path. And as long as I'm willing and I'm honest and I'm open to that type of coaching, it doesn't matter what I've achieved in business. It doesn't matter if I have more kids than anybody, or if I have this, or if I have that, or if I have money, or my relationship with my mom and dad, or whatever it may be. What matters is if I'm coachable, and if I'm open-minded to be able to listen. And God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, and I usually didn't use them in that proportion, but I'm learning to do that. And I'm very thankful to have people like Tim in my life and other really great role models. And so I want to introduce you to my buddy Tim.
Thanks. Likewise. Hey, chase your dreams.
Yeah, great guy over
to
here.
The fullest.
Anyways, we got a plane we got to catch, so I'm going to put this thing away and try to step on it a little bit. Don't text and drive or do videos and drive.
Ah!
Okay?
Peace.
Don't.